Narcissists won't validate you. The reason is because they want you to feel invalid. They want you to feel unsure of yourself. If they don't validate you at the kind of time where anybody else would, then you're going to feel a bit confused and not sure of yourself because you're surprised by that reaction. You're going to question yourself. That's what they hope anyway is going to happen. So for instance, if you've just had a success, something went really well for you, and you tell them about it, they might look past you at somebody else when you're talking to show that they're not really interested. Or they might look like they're thinking about something else, or interrupt you, or they might acknowledge what you've said and then put it down in some way. They might look like they're teasing you about it and they're just having fun, but it's a pattern that always happens with them. You know, they're always actually putting you down, even if they do it in a jokey way. All of these things are to invalidate you, to make you feel like you're not actually that great. You shouldn't really get too excited by your achievements, because if you do, then you are a threat to them. They don't have control. You don't really need anything from them. You don't need their validation if you feel good about yourself. So although initially there'll be a lot of love bombing, and this is not just within a romantic relationship, this can be with a parent, this can be with a friend, you know, that although at some point they may have validated you a lot, they'll then switch that off, and just when you expect to get it, when anyone else would give it to you, they won't. Sometimes when they sidestep validating you and say something neutral, you can play with that. You know, I had an experience where there was somebody I met who was like that, and on one occasion she told me I looked different, and I pretended she'd just complimented me. So I said, "Oh, thanks," and that can be quite funny, really, because then they you know, because they can't exactly say, "No, I didn't say you look nice," because that just shows themselves up. It's kind of useful to watch out for that if somebody invalidates you, because sometimes the first thing you can do is think, "Oh, was it not that great? Should I not be that happy?" You know, what they do can work if you let it, but you can also see what they're doing is really inappropriate and weird, which is what it is. Because with most people, unless you're coming across as really arrogant, they will validate things. They'll be enthusiastic about what you're enthusiastic about. It's just a natural reaction. To not do it is almost something that you have to put more energy into than to do it. A narcissist has to stop themselves from going in the flow of where you're going and saying, "Oh wow, that's really good," when you're excited. They've made a conscious decision to abandon you at that moment. If somebody's arrogant and they're listing all the great things they've done, which is what narcissistic people can do, then it can be tempting to not give them the validation they're after, because it can be a bit tiring to hear this boast. If it's just a constant thing, is this pattern of behavior that's coming from them. But a narcissist will treat you sometimes as if that's what you're doing, you know, even though nobody else treats you like that. And so that can be a sign that what they're doing is they're projecting themselves onto you. And in other cases, they're just jealous. That they're jealous of your happiness and of your feeling of feeling successful and feeling worthy. They don't want you to feel like that because they don't feel like that. The only way they ever feel like that is when their false selves are validated. It's never when they themselves are validated, because they don't show anyone who they really are. So I'm going to leave it here. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.